All right. All right. I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome. It's like my favorite day of the year. My favorite people. So let's get this started. So we're going to do the year in review and the year coming up. And as we know, we count years from RDC time. So today is day 0 of the year. Okay. So who am I? Adam Miller, VP of Engineering at Roblox, RB Adam. I've been on the platform for 7 years. I think that might be the longest out of anyone in this room. Is that right? No? Raise your hand if you've been on the platform more than 7 years. Oh, all right, okay, all right, that's cool. All right, we'll try again next year. All right, so we're gonna go through a lightning tour of stuff because there's so much of it. So first, what we promised last RDC we would ship, and we did ship. Let's get through it. So some of these you've seen, some you haven't, so, but it's really fun. So first, packages. The idea is you can make something once, reuse it lots of places, keep it all in sync with updates, not have to worry about stuff getting out of sync. Works for models, works for scripts, works across places. We're extending it, it's super cool. Power Studio tools, a variety of functionality here. So accurate play solo was a really big one. Used to be, all right. Used to be client, you'd start client and server, it would be, you know what you'd get, but it was super slow. Play solo would be fast, but it wouldn't be accurate. So now we have the best of both worlds, super good for developing robust content. Also, bulk import and mesh splitting in this video, working with larger amounts of content. It's really helpful to have that stuff be processed all at once. On the productivity side, we released the beta features tryout, so you can go in Studio, you can try out some of the things we're working on, give us early feedback, helps us iterate, lets you see the cool things that are coming up. And this video, long requested feature, game archiving, all those old junky games you don't want on your list anymore. You can get rid of them. Okay, so this is a dream we've had for a long time. Our CSG system, we wanted to bring it not just in Studio, but also in games. So we shipped the API. Game servers can do CSG operations, the exact same ones from Studio. This is live right now. You can do all kinds of cool, fun stuff. We're starting to see some games with this in it, and we're just going to make it faster and more usable in the future. Level of detail system. This is getting into some deeper tech. So we want to show more things in the distance. And to do that, you have to show them a bit lower resolution. You have to use fewer triangles. And we built a system called level of detail. So each object can have multiple representations of different numbers of triangles. And when you're far away, you don't need to see all the triangles. It looks just as good. So this helps us build bigger worlds, helps them render quickly. It works automatically. You turn it on for a model, and we will just pick the right level to show a user at any point in time. Deep inside our physics engine, we rebuilt it using something called LDL decomposition. Right? So we've had this experience in Roblox for a long time. You're trying to build some kind of mechanism. You get something slightly misaligned, and everything just goes crazy. With LDL, like that's the old version. With LDL, it's super solid. It just knows how to keep everything in sync. And this is live in every game. This just works. We just put it into every piece of Roblox, so physics just works better. Also good for high mass ratio systems. Okay. Small but cool feature, force field material, new top level material. All right, it behaves just like a real force field. When it intersects something, you can see that intersection. Yeah, real force field, yeah. And it also animates with colors and with textures and cool stuff like that. Okay, humanoid platforms. Yeah, we've wanted this for a long time. Gone are the days when you're standing on a boat and you're juddering back and forth and it just feels like, oh no, maybe I have to weld the humanoid to the boat while they're walking. And right, we've been there. So, but now it's super stable. It looks awesome. You can have all kinds of moving vehicles and platforms. It's super cool. Okay, we extended our pathfinding system. So we made it more modular, more customizable. You can say, okay, these different types of humanoids, they can be bigger, they can be smaller. Here, the little one can fit through the hole. The big guy has to go around. We made it so you can tell if you can jump or not, and that determines the path. So we're just trying to make it easier to use and more customizable. Okay, big one. Our new lighting system. So we shipped Future is Bright this year. Yeah, big one, right? Okay, gotta clap for our rendering team. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the biggest, most complicated projects we've ever shipped on Roblox. It took most of our whole rendering team almost 2 years to build this really fundamentally changed system. So phase 1 had our HDR and our new voxels. That's live on every platform. Phase 2, the improved sun shadows that really brings these sharp images to life. It's super cool. That's live on desktop and iOS. Android's coming really soon. It's huge. And on the more tech end side, we have cross-server messaging, otherwise known our APIs as the messaging service. So this is a simple publish, subscribe, server communication method. This is one of these things where we put it in and there's all kinds of interesting use cases that get developed over time. So people have been using this for things like cross-server chatting and matchmaking. This is an example of cross-server economies. So if you want to have buying and selling with people on different servers, you can do that. It's really cool. I think we're going to see a lot of neat stuff here. Okay, and this wraps up the stuff that we promised last RDC and we delivered. And next comes what we didn't promise, but we shipped anyway. Yeah, that's right. So, faster game loading, core tech improvements. So we optimized some of the CSG mesh, standard part loading. We made it 75% faster. You can see down to the right, that's how long it takes to load a game. This is for both servers and for Studio. Make everything faster. All right, another core tech improvement, our Lua VM. So we've been building on top of Lua for a long time. We want to make it better and faster. So we built a new VM from scratch. This is serious engineering work, folks. So it's 2 to 3 times faster for the average Lua script. And it's also going to be much more extensible as we get to improve Lua going forward. I'll talk about that more in a bit. This works for all games automatically. It's in limited release now, but in the next few weeks, this is going to be live. So I threw it in here because I'm just so excited. And if you want to learn more, come to our Cine's Lua as Fast as Possible talk. Okay, so as our games get bigger and more sophisticated every year with more players, we need more hardware to support that. Dave talked about this a bit. We are deploying lots more servers. This is a graph of how many we have deployed. They're high-end servers, making every game run faster. And with all that processing power, more concurrency. We're starting to multi-thread a lot of things. This is an example of our join process. So how long it takes to process a player joining a game, you want to be as low as possible. You can see when we multi-threaded this with our new hardware, just how fast that became. And across the board, we are increasing our optimizations for every game. So this chart shows how we added a new algorithm for multi-threading in our streaming games. This is one where you want it to go higher. It's how much stuff we're able to do at the same time. So all this stuff together, just Roblox games running faster in a way that impacts every game, makes everything feel better. On the visual side, long requested feature of Viewport Frames, the ability to put 3D content I don't think I need to explain this one. You guys know this one, but it's so cool. We've won this for a long time. You get to have 3D previews of items, lots of neat stuff. So it's really neat. Some practical stuff and just crazy, fun, Robloxy stuff too. On the dev metrics side, Justin talked a bit about this. We're delivering packages of data, top dev metrics in a downloadable form. There's a lot more to come here. Other people will talk about more. We just want to give everyone insight into what their games are doing. Okay, this wraps up the section of what we hadn't talked about, but we shipped anyway. Now we have a little bit of a sad section. What we promised last RDC we would ship, but we didn't. Fortunately, it's very short. But it's actually okay. And the reason it's okay is because we want to be super ambitious. We want to be aggressive and try and do as much cool stuff as possible. And we're always going to go as close to that line as we can. So what didn't we ship? Well, dynamic skies didn't make it. So this is still a big dream of ours. The idea is to have beautiful dynamic sky systems that are animated, procedurally generated, look cool, easily configurable from some simple parameters. We are going to do this someday TM. The other thing we didn't ship was server blocks. So server blocks was an idea we had where we wanted to simplify the process of client-server communication and build it straight into the Lua programming language. What we realized, we made a fully functioning prototype, and we actually tested it with a bunch of top developers. And we realized that there was a bunch of limitations, and then there was also a lot of complexity. And we decided just in the end, it wasn't worth adding that complexity to the engine, so we've killed this feature. And that's it. Done. So let's go on to the coolest stuff. What's coming up in the next year? I've had some people come up to me like, Adam, are we going to do X? Is it going to be Y? A couple of guesses were right, a couple were wrong. I think I got a couple of surprises for you. So to frame this a little bit, let me give you a little context. At the start of this year, we thought about what's our big vision for what we're trying to build here, and how do we move our platform forward? And we're thinking about large immersive worlds that have lots of content, lots of players, big scale, big scope, and look amazing. So we built here a little test map that is, we think, kind of indicative of this world. And this is kind of the before. This is where we started with at the beginning of the year, and you don't get to see that much, and it doesn't look as great. But this gave us a testing environment that we could aim towards. So how do we get there, right? So we talked about level of detail for CSGs and meshes, but so much on Roblox is built out of models, lots of parts. So if you build a castle out of 10,000 parts in the distance, you still want to render efficiently. You want to be able to see it from across the map. In this case, you see how we knocked all these blocks down, but up in that corner, it still renders in the distance. It's even out of streaming radius, and we've converted it into a mesh, and it's super efficient. So this is LOD for models. So what has our rendering team been working on? Yeah. All right. This speaks for itself, right? So we are building a new fundamental material model. We're using something called PBR, physically based rendering. This is an industry standard that's been emerging, and it just makes everything look better. It also makes it much easier to build really cool custom materials. We're going to let people, our developers, upload the same quality materials as our built-in materials. It's going to look amazing. So this is going to be super cool. Long requested feature. Our smooth terrain, it looks great, but it's been a little bit barren. So we want to have vegetation. That means having grass, flowers, bushes, little rocks, stuff like that. We want it to be customizable, configurable, efficient, procedurally generated with LOD, all that good stuff to make it work everywhere and be super cool. So that's coming up. Back to our core Lua tech. So we're doubling down on Lua. And what we want to do is make it easier for developers to create large, complex worlds, complex games. I was talking to a developer last night, said his new game is 70,000 lines of Lua code, right? So when you want to manage a code base like that, you want to have more sophisticated tools and a better language. And by adding optional typing into Lua, we think we can help with that kind of development. So we're going to be adding optional types, and that will let you catch more errors up front instead of at runtime. Incorrect usage of self, things like that. So this is super cool. And writing more code, we want to be able to manage it properly. So we need to deliver source control. And we've got a way to do it that's going to be integrated with existing workflows in Team Create. It's going to be really cool. Instead of locking on scripts, which is a really clunky method, we've heard a lot of feedback on that, we're going to be able to have modern source control methods and have multiple people editing at the same time. Super powerful. We'll have versioning, rollback, all those good things. All right. So new avatars. We have a huge effort going on with our avatars. This is really exciting. So we're taking a step back and saying, we want to have the most amazing avatar system in the world. And that means a few things. So it means rebuilding a lot of the core tech to be customizable, modular, configurable, redoing the way humanoids interact with the world, making it super flexible, and skinned avatars. So skinned avatars means deformable meshes. This means finally we'll have all right. This was a prediction. It's coming true. We are going to have deformable meshes. It's not just going to work for avatars. It'll work everywhere, but it's going to look really good. Layered clothing is probably the coolest, most crazy stuff we've ever built. So it means you can take an RDC t-shirt, put on a Roblox jacket, put on a Roblox scarf, we should make those, and it'll all layer and look really good. That means you can build your avatar in really cool, customizable ways that are a lot more creative. So all this coming together is going to be amazing. And as a couple other people mentioned, we need to get great content for this. So where do we get the content? Well, we get it from the community. These are some of the first user-generated hats that have been built by the community. They are amazing. They are so cool. They show that you guys are wired into what people want, and it's going to blow everybody away. So this is super, super exciting. So finally, a little before and after. This is how the large worlds are going to start to look. When we have our LOD systems, we have LOD terrain and parts and models and great lighting and everything like that. This is a crazy hack-together prototype the team put together, thankfully, just for this. But we're going to start shipping a lot of these features in the next year, and things are going to look amazing. So, in conclusion, this has been awesome. It's been probably the best year at Roblox ever, and the future is even brighter. This is a collaboration between us and the community. We love the feedback you give us. It's awesome. It helps us improve, so keep delivering that. I love being a part of it, and thank everybody.